Hi guys. Good morning. Okay, I am still not used to this setup totally. So if you're here, check in, drop me a comment and say hello. So good to see you. Okay, so today we're talking about why it is not a good idea to pursue relationships based on if there's a spark or not. And I'll tell you why. The spark is chemicals made in your brain because you sense a connection. And you're like, well, why would that be a bad thing to pursue? Hi, Steve. Thanks for saying good morning. Let me tell you why. So when those chemicals are very, very potent, and basically they can override your logical brain. So once you feel the spark, it kind of turns your brain off a little bit. Darren, I hope I'm saying your name right. Good morning. Thank you for being on. Okay, so once you feel a spark for someone, it tends to kind of override your logic a little bit. Have you guys noticed that? Have you ever fallen in love? Tony, good morning. Okay, I'm just seeing my friends in the chat. Tony and I have been friends for a long time. So good to have you guys. Okay, good. I want lots of interaction. This is good. Okay, so raise your hand or make a comment if you have fallen in love with the wrong woman. And the question is, why do you stay with her so long? It's because the chemicals in your body have overridden your logic. And so what I want to say to you guys is there's a better way. And it's called only date women that are the right kind of women to support your future for the rest of your life. Okay, this group is only for men who want to be in a committed relationship. So I'm going to assume that about all of you. So I think there's a bit of a lag on the comments. So I just got Steve's comment like, oh yeah, and I think he's referring to I've fallen in love with the wrong girl, right? Okay, so if you don't, so first of all, what's key is you've got to be able to attract the right kind of woman. And secondly, you've got to be able to identify the right kind of woman and refuse to spend time with everyone else. So this is why on the picture for this live video, I had a firefighter putting out a burning car. Because when you follow the spark, what happens is your body chemistry is now dictating your future, and this is a bad idea, right? Because you can have chemistry for a woman who is nuts, who is emotionally immature, who is in a spiral of abuse, like, you know, whatever previous relationship she's had, she's going to bring all that trauma in with you. So, the other thing to be leery of about the spark is that we attract and feel very comfortable with people who resonate with our neuroses. Okay, so I'm going to say that one more time. Again, I'm not seeing any comments come up, so I definitely welcome you guys participating, but I don't know how long of a lag there is before you type it in and I actually see it. Okay, so your neuroses, okay? So what you haven't dealt with, like for example, the mean internal conversation that you have about yourself, you're going to be very comfortable with a woman who has the same nasty internal dialogue. You're going to feel a spark with her. And until you change how your internal dialogue goes, you're going to keep attracting that kind of woman. But if you were running out of your logical brain, then you wouldn't even go out with that woman, because I only want you to go out with women from now on with whom you can identify evidence that they actually resonate with your values, that they actually have the qualities required to support your ideal future. Date those, first of all, attract those women. And secondly, only date those women. And then, like, yeah, if it feels like you're dating your sister, you're not going to keep going out with her, but a spark can occur. And it will with the right person. If you give it enough time and you guys really work well together, there's a good chance of that happening. A lot of times spark is even caused by the fact that you guys are just starving for physical touch, emotional connection, slash spiritual connection. Like when you guys walk around starving because you're not getting fed by a good woman, you're very subject to sparks. Therefore, go out with women who could support your ideal future, and you're likely to find a spark somewhere. But if you go out with women who aren't going to support your ideal future, you're still going to find a spark eventually. So don't do that. All right, good. This is the bones of what I had to say. Now, I want you guys to type any questions you have in the chat so that we can make this a conversation and I can provide what you're looking for specifically and individually. This is the fun part. And you can see out my office door. Let's just close that. How to identify the right one? Okay, Steve, great question. So go ahead and put in the chat. First of all, you've got to be clear before you can attract the right kind of woman. Okay, so how do you get clear is the next logical question. Number one, are you clear on the future you want? And if you are, then it's just an intellectual exercise of saying, what kind of woman is compatible with that future? And I want to give you a real example because this is not, this isn't frou-frou. This is very practical. What I'm telling you right now is extremely practical. So go ahead and somebody, Tony, Darren, or Steve, one of you guys, put in the chat, what is the future you want? And then I'll talk you through what I'm talking about. Like, oh, okay, you know, what kind of woman would support and align with that future? That would be perfect for you, right? Someone who, not someone that is the easiest for you to be around necessarily. For some of you it might be, but for some of you, you want a future that you need a woman around whom you feel driven to kick ass. Like you might need something other than what you think you want, if that makes sense. I'm still waiting for a future to pop up in the chat. I really want to interact with you guys about something real, not something theoretical, okay? So what kind of future do you want? And then from there, Steve, you identify what kind of woman. And let me give you an example. Goal-oriented, okay? It might be that you're goal-oriented and the kind of woman you need is one who's very creative. Like maybe you need someone who inspires your creativity. Or maybe you're very creative and you need like a driven woman, like a goal-oriented woman, okay? To support the future that you want. But I can't say for sure unless you know your dreams and the future you want her to align with. So this is critical, guys. Like before you even go on another date ever, if you want to be efficient and stop wasting your time and money, you've got to be clear about the kind of woman you're looking for. And then you've got to identify those traits before you ever pay for her dinner or drink or coffee or go for a walk in the park. Like, don't even bother meeting unless you have evidence that she aligns with what you're looking for, okay? Okay, Steve, you said I'd love to learn how to identify the right one. How are we doing? I need to know if we're on track, what you're getting out of this, if this is opening anything up, because when you say, I know this, what I'm hearing is, okay, let's talk about Darren. He wants the picket fence, a relaxed, content, married lifestyle. Okay, so there's a couple things in there. I'm going to skip the picket fence unless you're looking for a carpenter, which I don't recommend, right? You're probably the one who's going to put the fence up, I'm going to guess. So what kind of woman would you need to align with settling down and having a relaxed, content lifestyle? Let's focus on that part. So let's think about that. What kind, I'm going to guess you would want a woman who has dealt with herself and no drama. Like she really is aware of her past trauma. She's already looked at it and she's at peace. So First of all, this is your job, not mine. I'm just giving you some ideas. But, Darren, if that resonates, if you need a woman who is truly at peace within herself, that's a great quality to require. That's a great quality not to go out with until you've talked on the phone with her and you sense that she's at peace with herself, that she can talk about her past without being emotional. That's a sign that someone has resolved their trauma. If they can talk about their trauma and it's like, yeah, I went to the grocery store and I picked up some eggs, and yeah, I was raped by 3 guys 4 years ago. If they can talk about it like that, they have dealt with their crap. So that's just one example. I recommend you identify at least 3. Okay? 3 qualities of a woman who would be aligned to be content and relaxed on an ongoing basis. All right, good. So I gave you a starter. I want you to maybe try and put them in the chat. So think about it for you. What are some qualities that she would need to have to provide relaxed? Another one might be, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go back to Steve, okay? So my goal was for this to be a 15-minute call. So back to Steve. Oh, it looks like I'm missing some comments. Okay. Steve says some qualities he wants. Fully emotionally available. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, I know what you're talking about. But fully emotionally available, very hard to measure, my friend. You've got to get down to brass tacks. What does fully emotionally available look like to you? Or another way to do it is, what would she be doing? What is it you want someone fully emotionally available to do? That might be, I want her to be willing to provide sex 4 times a week. Or it might be, I want her to be able to talk about her past. What are you talking about? What do you want emotionally available to look like? That's more practical, okay? Fully emotionally available, very hard. That's very, what's the word? It's not tangible. Darren, thank you for saying that that's cool, but I actually want you to generate 2 other qualities to show that you're processing what I'm saying, okay? So please do that effort and put that in the chat. Okay, so back to you, Steve. Let's go over mentally stable. Successful. Not in love with past relationships. Yes, she has goals. Okay, goals are very easy to measure. Goals are like, you can talk to a woman on the phone and say, you know, what's the last goal that you achieved that really lit you up? So you should write that down, Steve. I just gave you gold. The question I just said is amazing, and here's why. Number 1, not only are you going to find out if she's goal-oriented, you're going to find out what she values in life. If you ask someone, what is the last goal you achieved that really lit you up? You're going to find out what inspires them, what they value, what they focus on, what they go after. I mean, that question is golden. And hint, asking golden questions while you're getting to know someone before you ever spend $1 on them or meet them, because then you're risking, remember, the chemistry taking over your brain. Find out in a classy way. Okay, so Steve says emotionally available means able to love without reservation. Dude, you're not talking about a human being. The only woman who loves without reservation is a mother of a baby. I mean, seriously. So loving without reservation isn't realistic. Can you get that more practical for me? Think it through again. Like, what do you mean ability to love without, do you mean, now here's what you might be saying. Maybe you're saying she can, when she chooses, be fully real and vulnerable with you. If that's what you mean, that's possible. But love without reservation, especially not someone before, you can't see that in someone before you meet them, because it wouldn't be appropriate for them to love without reservation, okay? So what quality are you looking for? Keep looking. That's not measurable enough. Okay. Back to Steve for a second. Not in love with past relationships. That one you can find evidence of, but the problem is that's not going to support your ideal future, okay? That's very negative, and let me explain what I mean. Okay, we're going over our 15 minutes really quick. Let me just make sure. Okay, I do need to go in about 3 to 4 minutes. So let's wrap up, but I'm going to address this first. So, not in love with past relationships. That shouldn't be your top 3. That should be like a prerequisite. Okay? Like, I'm definitely never dating anyone again who fill in the blank. And also I want to caution you guys, okay? There's a difference between not in love with your past relationship and I'm just gonna share personally, okay? So I have had 3 boyfriends in the last 3 years. Still love all of them. Do I want to be with them? I mean, sometimes I miss so-and-so or so-and-so, but they're not what I want. I dumped them. But because I'm healthy, I don't have to hate them. I still see their greatness. There's a reason I dated them, because they're awesome. They're just not a match for me. So I want you guys to hear that it is good, like if some woman is still wishing her marriage had worked out. You don't want to date that, but you do want to date a woman who's like, I wish I'd been healthy enough to work out my marriage. Can you guys hear that fine line distinction? Okay, I'm sad my marriage didn't work out, but I don't wish it had. Hell no. Like, I had a horrible marriage. So I am grateful for divorce. I'm almost pro-divorce because I love my life so much being free. Okay, so I want you to hear that. Yes, she's healthy. She is ready for a new relationship is different from, not still loving the men she was with. Like, I'd go back and date my ex-boyfriends from time to time because they're great guys and I love them. Some of them aren't cool with that, but some of them are, so I don't know if this is landing, but I feel like I might be confusing you guys a little bit. I recommend you take that off the list and change it. Change it to something like, something more practical. So I'm going to go really quick because Darren shared, he did the work. Thank you, Darren. Her worldview shouldn't be tainted by bad past experiences. And I love that. So that's perfect. So Darren, what can you look for to know that she's no longer has her trauma in front of her, that her trauma is behind her now, okay? That I might ask her about her dreams to find that out, okay? So question maybe you could craft, if this lands with you, like you agree with me, yeah. If she still has dreams and she's like, free from her past, it would look like something like she still thinks she could achieve her dreams versus if she's tainted by the past, she might be like, well, I'm trying to avoid pain. Like I'm trying to avoid getting hurt again. That is someone who has not put their past behind them. Okay, is this landing? So I love what you're saying. Her worldview shouldn't be tainted by bad experiences. Yes, now you want to come up with a question that will allow a woman to share in a way that you can see. Is she still traumatized by a lot of trauma? Or has she mostly dealt with her past trauma and she's mostly free to dream about the future, okay? That's just an example. Back to Steve. You still haven't clarified ability to love without reservation because I kind of shot you down on that one. So I want you to be more clear about here's the question. What would she provide for you if she was able to love without reservation? That might help you. Like, what would she be able to provide? For example, when she's mad at me, she could forgive me. That might be what it would provide. Or when I screw up, we can have an honest conversation with no drama. Okay, so Darren, look and see. Sorry, not Darren. Steve, look and see. If she was able to love without reservation, what would she provide for you? And you can start to do the work from there. The idea is you guys can start to identify these qualities before you agree to meet someone. I know this seems a little extreme, and it is. Okay, but this is one of the ways that you can really speed up the efficiency of finding the right kind of woman. All right, you guys are awesome. I really loved all of the interaction. Thank you for being here, and we're going to do another one of these next week on Monday. Look for that invitation. All right, talk to you guys later.